Right there. We've got UT professor, law professor over at the UT College of Law. Great to have with us Mr. Gilchrist. Thanks so much for coming in this morning, Gregory Gilchrist. You saw that moment. We talked about it before we came out here today. Uncommon in a case like this to see so much emotion tied up in a judge.
Well, it is uncommon, but I think it's not uncommon in a case like this because this is such an emotional case, right? And this is the moment of sentencing. This is where the community, through the judge, casts judgment on the person who committed this crime. And so it really is an emotional moment.
I said there were highs and lows when we were talking before, highs and lows for her as she was delivering this statement to the defendant and just saying, you know, I see, and we heard it from our reporters, I see no remorse out of you. I've watched you during this course of action, but then also taking a step back and saying, these are two members of the community who died because of your actions, and that's where it really hit home.
Yeah, and think about it. I mean, their family members had just spoken in the court. They were there. They spoke to the judge and explained their loss and how it impacted them. So
let's talk about the mistrial side of this and what we have talked about earlier, how this just kind of threw a wrench into things yesterday. The judge coined the phrase. She said this moment. The detective was on the stand, made mention of a polygraph test, and she said it sucked the air out of the room. Talk about the fact that, what does this do for prosecutors? What are they thinking right now? What are jurors thinking right now in the fact that this thing took an off-ramp that they weren't expecting?
Yeah, for the prosecutors, it's got to be a punch in the gut, right? I mean, this is a moment. They've put countless hours into this case, all the preparation, days and days of testimony. I think this was the 39th witness where it finally happened and this statement was made that led to a mistrial. And so that's a lot to put into something. And it's emotional for the prosecutors at that point. And so it's not the ending they would have wanted. It's not anyone's fault, I don't think. It's the sort of thing that can happen, but it certainly sucks the air out of the room. That's a good description of it. I think that's probably exactly how it felt.
For prosecutors, for family members, for even the jurors, does this steal away from them? Even though he is getting 20 years behind bars, does this steal something from them?
Well, you'd have to ask them. I don't know. I mean, I think there could be different views on that. At the end of the day, he pled guilty. And so there is a closure to this case. And that's important. As you said, he gets 20 years in prison for his crime, which is incredibly serious.
Professor Gregory Gilchrist from the UT College of Law, we appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, happy to be here.